Alright, so let's talk about accessories for a second. There's a lot of, thousands of fishing accessories available out there in stores, and a lot of them are marketing gimmicks, of course. But I believe some of them are kind of essential, or maybe not essential, but at least important. Okay. And the first thing here, I have some shades, and you want your shades to be polarized. And polarized shades will give you the ability to see through water, almost like a superpower. It will filter out reflections from the water. And first, protect your eye from the UVs, which is great. But it will filter out some reflection on the water, and you'll be able to see through the water in front of you. And you know what? 90% of it is finding the fish. If you can see the fish, then you can cast accurately. And if you can cast accurately, only then you will land your fish. Okay? So shades, polarized shades, really important. Okay. The second thing maybe I can mention here quickly, it could be intimidating for people to, when you start to manipulate the fish that you're catching, and having dorsal spine or things that could, sharp and pointy in the scale, and yuck. Yeah, no, it's not for everyone. Use the gloves. This is like a heavy rubber glove. This is soft for the fish scale or skin. It will give you confidence and handle the fish in a more humane way. So that's why I recommend wearing gloves if you're yucked out by fishes. Along in the same vein, I also recommend you a good pair of pliers, and this will help you remove the hook from the mouth, again in a humane manner. Especially if you're catching and releasing fish, you want to be gentle as possible, and this will give you the ability to actually go deep into the mouth of the fish and remove the hook in a humane way. To cut your line, if you have mono, you might want to have like a clipper like this. Braided line usually doesn't work well with clippers, so you'll want like a sharp knife. Okay. Another item that I deem essential is having nets, and I would recommend you to have a rubber type of net, because fish love their rubber net. I can tell you this. It's much gentler, especially if you're trout fishing, like salmonid, and you're again doing catch and release. This prevents injuries to the fish skin. All right, and you have this type also. This is much bigger. I love this for small trout, and usually when I'm pike fishing or walleye, I will use something more like this. Okay, and the advantage of having larger holes in your net is your hooks doesn't get snagged as much. Like this is tiny holes, and you might get your hook snagged in them more frequently than this sort of and if your fish can go through one of these holes, well, you don't even need a net. For the next the next thing that I have here on my side is all about accessibility. And to me, accessibility is key. Like I recommend a longer rod so you can cast further. This is why I'm recommending having an open-faced reel so you can cast long. And another way also to increase your reach is by wearing some, like boots, for example. You can step in the water up to a certain level, and maybe 1 foot of water is just enough for you to get that lure just exactly where you want it. And this is a great it's cool accessories to have with you. So this is basic level. You can increase even more your reach. What I would recommend you is to get waders. And let me show you my waders. So those are my waders here. So the socks here are neoprene waders. So what you get inside of this, you will stay dry all day. And with the waders, you also need a good pair of boots. Okay, and the boots will prevent two things. First, the boots will prevent you from slipping, because usually you have like a good grip system under the sole here. Here I have like a metal cleat, and I can stand on rocks and thing underwater so it doesn't slip. And the second thing is you want your boot to be rigid, okay? Because when you're walking underwater up to a certain height, the pressure at the feet is, you know, quite high. And if your boots are too flexible, they will crush your feet and it's gonna hurt. So I recommend you to have like, you know, a good rigid pair of boots that goes with your waders if this is the route that you go. So these are the two extremes, you know, from the boots to the waders. But you also have in between. I don't have any here with me. This one goes all the way up to the chest, and I can go all the way up in the water to I don't recommend it, but you can. And you also have mid-thighs wader, or like, you know, I don't know how they call them. What's the proper name for them? But you have everything in between the full chest wader all the way up to the rain boots. Okay, so you can have a look into these things, and this is just to give you more accessibility. In the previous chapter, I covered how you can find fish in the water, but sometimes when you're on the bank and you're seeing the nice area, you know, the nice area is on the other side, and you're trying to cast and you cannot reach, and you're actually seeing fish jumping on the surface over there, but you are unable to reach them. It's highly frustrating. Of course, the ultimate way to reach any places is to have a canoe or a kayak. And, you know, if you're already a kayaker or a canoeist, then that's fine. This is great, you know, just use it. But you know, getting into kayaking or canoeing plus fishing could be overwhelming. So, you know, baby steps, one at a time. So do other kayak and canoeing first, then get into fishing, or do some fishing and then into canoeing, kayaking. But if you want to do both at the same time, you know, it's different. Like kayaking and canoeing is a whole new game, and it's yeah, there's, you know, lots of accessories. It's going to be overwhelming for your wallet and for yourself. All right, I think that sums it all. Now I want to talk about something very, very important before I wrapped this video. This is my greatest production ever so far. And so if you're one of the few that watched this video from the beginning all the way up to the end, man, you're a trooper, and I want to hear about you. I want you to leave me a comment in the section below. I want to know who you are, who's gonna watch that an hour and plus video on fishing. I definitely want to hear about you. Thank you. And now, final words, parting words. What I want to tell you is, when I've been out there, I've seen my fair share of unsportsmanship. Okay, I've seen people not respecting nature. I've seen people doing stuff that are unspeakable. What I would like people, you know, learning fishing and all this is great, but also want them to come into fishing with a good sportsmanship attitude. Okay, respect the rules and regulation. Please be part of the conservation effort. If you know, catch and release is great. You know, you can have fun and all that. It's not all that there is to it. Sometimes it's not even better to release the fish, because the way we're handling them, the risk of you know, death after release is still fairly high. So, you know, there are ways you can help improve the survival rate of the fish that you catch if you're releasing them back. For example, crushing the barb on your hook is a great way to do so. You see on my, and this is a resolution that I took recently. I haven't done it to my gear yet, but for example, on my jerkbait, I'm going to replace the treble hook by a single hook, and probably also remove the barb of these hooks. You know, last year I was fishing, and I was fly fishing, and I caught a tiny fish. And I was like, no, that's not the fish that I wanted to catch, you know, and it broke my heart, really, to see that little fish like bleeding by its gill. I tried to release it, but I don't think it's gonna make it, you know, and so I named that fish Wanda. Only a few of you will catch that joke. And for Wanda, I decided to rethink my whole approach about fishing, catch and release. And of course, I'm still gonna catch and cook some of the fishes that I'm catching. I'm not saying I turned 100% catch release guy. No, but I want to prevent as much as possible when I'm catching a fish, especially when it's the wrong fish that I was after. You know, sometimes when the fish is too small, or I will not keep a fish that is not sufficient for dinner, for example. Okay, so if it's just a tiny fish and it's just going to be like 2 bites for me, there's no point in keeping that fish. But I hope that the way I cut it allows me to actually release the fish. All right, and for example, you know, about the treble hook on jerkbait, I think they're overkill in the sense where you will catch a pike in your net, the pike will, you know, will do its things, and then you will have hooks you know, on the upper head of the fish or on the belly. So it's like, it just increases injuries to the fish that are unnecessary, especially if you wanted to release that fish. So to me, treble hook are from now on a no-go, except on my spinnerbait. But I will remove the because they're only on the spinnerbait. There's only one treble hook, and I will crush the barb on this. And you could be worried about losing fish, you know, if you crush the barb. I believe if you have a good technique, you know, if you keep a good tension on the line, your success rate will not drop as much as if you kept the barb. Okay. You know, in some area where you, for salmon fishing, for example, you need to crush the barb. It's like you cannot fish for salmon if your barbs are not crushed, and it's people are still catching salmons, you know. So sportsmanship, you know, I want you to have impeccable ethic when you're out there. I want you to go over the rules and regulation of your province or state, wherever you are, and follow them. Okay, and it's not because you have a quota of 15 fish for the day that you have to catch 15 fish for the day. You know, catch what you need and leave the rest alone. Respect nature. When you're losing your lure or line, retrieve as much as possible of your line. Do your due diligence to retrieve the lure. You know, do everything you can before like forfeiting a lure to the environment. Trash, man. No. I've seen this, and the people who are doing this are idiots, and I'm not even, you know, they are idiots. I'm not afraid to say it. They are idiots. Okay. So, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it after an hour and something, I think I deserve a little thumbs up, I think, and maybe even your subscription to my channel. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. And good luck on the water. See ya.